Good morning, everyone. I'm back. Today is the date that we call the 15th in the year that we call 2025, in the month that we call September, on the day that we call Monday. So let me fix you guys here. I don't have you set up right at all by the looks of things. I think I might have to drop the height down a little bit. How's that? I think that might work well enough. So I wasn't on last week. It is right now 6:09 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I wasn't on last week. I was exhausted. I don't have a lot of time to just breathe and not do anything. And I spend that time that I have in the morning with you guys usually. And so that's work for me, right? I'm working. And last week I was just too tired, just too exhausted. And I needed that little window of time in the morning to just kind of just get a little bit of rest and relaxation in. I had planned on coming on Wednesday, but I got up feeling really off and not feeling myself. And that had been happening for days, just not feeling myself and really having to work to feel centered. Because when I say not feeling myself, I literally mean not feeling myself. How do I explain this? For some of you, you already know what it is to sometimes be picking up on collective energy rather than your own. And so you're picking up on this collective energy and you don't feel right. That's why one of the things I always recommend to people is get to know your authentic self, become more and more authentic, so that you can recognize when your feelings are yours or they're not yours. And I just wasn't feeling myself. I felt like I was just picking up on a lot of crap last week, feeling very off. And Wednesday morning I felt really, really off, and I didn't come on as I had planned to, because I just decided to light some candles and light some incense and spend some time just being still and centering myself and grounding myself and pulling light and working to get my energy straight. And I would do that, and then I would have to do it again, and then I would have to do it again, and then I would have to do it again. I was really struggling. And then I realized, as you all know, the news that came out about Charlie Kirk, I realized this is why there's a particular energy that's been building. And some of us, empathic people especially, our energy goes outward all the time. It's as natural as breathing. And I think it's a defense mechanism that we pick up as children to gauge the energy around us to see if it's safe or not. And it's just as natural as breathing. And we carry it most of our lives, not knowing what to do with it, because it's as natural as breathing, and we're always carrying someone else's energy or the collective's energy. I've worked really hard not to carry the collective's energy because I have my own shit. My own shit's big enough. Carrying the collective's energy it's not my place to carry the world on my shoulders. What I have learned is that when I feel that way, one of the best things that I can do, we empathic souls, is transmute as much of that energy as we possibly can. And so that's what I work to do, for my own sake and just for the sake of the planet. And it's not because it's that work that I do for the sake of the planet, it feels good to me. So it's self-satisfying. And I just care about the planet. So it's just something that is self-satisfying. It's not some grand anything other than, all right, I realize that I'm picking up on some stuff that's heavy or not great, and so I'm going to work to transmute that for my own sake. And as I transmute that for my own sake, I realize that that is also good for the planet. And so it's a win-win, right? So yeah, it was kind of like the week of 9/11, honestly, all those years ago, feeling really, really off. And that's what happened to me last week. So I wasn't on because I was taking care of me. I will say that I think it was around 3:30 on Wednesday, my boyfriend sent me a message telling me that Charlie Kirk had been shot and killed. And I will say that my body didn't respond in a way that it would respond if you listen to your body, right? My body didn't respond in a way that it would respond if I was being presented with truth. My body responded different, so I knew there was something wrong with the narrative. And that's another reason why I say get to know your authentic self, because you'll understand your body, you'll understand your feelings, you'll understand your thoughts. You'll know if your thoughts are being egotistical or if they're being genuine. And it's still work, and there's always room to err, right? Because we have cognitive dissonance and there's all this stuff that can creep in. But my body, my senses were not responding the way they should if I were being told the truth about something. So he told me that, and then I went on and I got on X to see if Donald Trump had posted something. And he had posted, and he was asking for prayers for Charlie and his family. And he said that Charlie Kirk was a good man from top to bottom, and every bell and whistle in my body went off. And I knew there was something in that. It's just a really strange way for someone to, I think I've got a hair in my coffee. My dog is shedding so bad right now, and I was just patting him. It's just a really odd way for someone to speak. Oh, he's a good man from top to bottom. I don't think I've ever heard anybody in this lifetime ever make that kind of a statement upon upon a tragic event. So I just thought that was really weird. My mind thought it was weird, but my bells and whistles were going off. And so from that moment, I just, again, went into centering mode, and I didn't do any delving into anything because I just knew I was being lied to, that a narrative was being created. And I knew that this narrative was going to steer consciousness in a particular direction. And I started praying that if anything had happened truly to Charlie, to cover him and his family in comfort. Because I always say that when I'm talking to God, I'm always like, because I don't believe anything, I think. And that's why I wanted to really take some time, because I am jaded. I'm not going to kid you guys. I've been awake a long time, and I've just lived through so many psyops that I am a little jaded. It's true. And I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going into cognitive dissonance or confirmation bias by delving into anything. I just wanted to get myself centered and really listen to my feelings and my thoughts. And I think it was Saturday, I was talking to somebody who I communicate with quite a bit, and I just told her how I was feeling about it. The only other person that I had shared that with, well, I'd shared it with a couple people. I'd shared it with my friend Brad, that, I felt like this was off, and that, once again, we were being psyoped. And I shared it with my boyfriend. I haven't even told my kid, because he's been so upset over this event. I want to let him go through the emotions that he should naturally go through. I haven't shared it with my cousin because she's been so upset. And I think, out of respect, I want them to be able to go through their emotions. And then maybe later on, I'll tell them what I think about it. But definitely feel like it's a psyop to steer consciousness, the masses, in a particular direction. Because we're so divided, you guys. There's so much division. There's the left-wing agenda really pushing violence. And there's the left, and I'm babbling, I'm sorry, but I think it's important. There's the left-wing agenda that really pushes for the violence, and you have to agree with me, and you have to be like me, and you have to see things like me, and talk like me, and dress like me, and, they want us to be all these, like, shades of gray, androgynous, violent, hateful, little Nazi, socialist assholes. And then you have just ordinary people that say, no, wait a minute, we love our country, and we do love being free, and this is what freedom means, and, we do believe in God, and all of this just polar opposites, right? And so many people will talk to you if they believe that you understand where they're coming from. They'll be open with you about that because they feel like you're safe, and they don't want to put themselves out there to be ridiculed, or, have something happen, like, with all of us have the story, all of you on the channel here, and myself, we have all lost friends for being who we are and speaking up and saying what we think. And it's so funny because, like, a couple of the people that, like, think that I'm horrible now have known me for, over a decade, but somehow, because I stood for women, that made me bad. Because I stood for women and children, that made me somehow, even though they've known me all these years and know that I'm not a bigot and know that I'm not a hateful person, they threw those labels on me, called me names, said horrible things, and have ditched me. And that's fine. Clearly we're not an energetic match, and they can do that. And I'm glad that their true colors came up to the surface so that I know exactly what I'm dealing with. And, I won't ever allow them back into my life. And it's not because I don't forgive them. I forgave them a long time ago. It's because fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And I'm not going to go there, right? That's just how it is. It's not that I have any ill will towards them. I'm just not going to ever allow them back in my life because we just don't match energetically. But people haven't spoken up because of that. They don't want to be called names. They don't want people to hate them. They don't want to lose loved ones that they loved and respected and were close to. They don't want the division. They've been afraid of it. With this event, people are standing that would have never stood before, and that have been trying to be quiet and tolerant and waiting for the tide to turn when the crazy disappeared and people stopped acting like crazy fools and came back into, like, some sort of center ground of logic and reason. And, I've seen it. Everybody's telling me how everyone is speaking out right now. and saying, you know, I've kept quiet for this amount of years but I'm not going to keep quiet anymore. And so it's steering the masses in a particular direction. It's also uncovering more darkness. You know, for me, it's showing me even more people who kept quiet on the other side of the aisle, who are out saying horrific things and celebrating the death of a good man, celebrating and being really ignorant about it. So it uncovers the darkness even more too, and it gets people to stand up. So it's an event that's going to make a difference, you guys, no matter how you look at it. But a friend that I talked to, when I talked to him about top to bottom, I said it's just weird, and it sent off bells and whistles. And I'm sure it's some sort of a calm, but I have no idea. I don't know how to access the calms. I don't know how to access those Q-calms at all. But she did. She did some delving for me. Thank you, Carla. And she sent me some stuff. And one of the things that popped up was political hit job for top to bottom. So there you go. I mean, I already knew in my heart that this was off. And that's the other thing, like, we all operate so differently. So some of us will get those initial feelings. Our bodies will do certain things. We'll have the thought come in, the clear knowing, and that intuition will kick into drive, and we just trust it. And we've trusted it because we've already gone through the phases of playing detective when no one else believed us, right? So we had to play detective to prove somehow to our family or whatever that we was right. I stopped having to play detective a long time ago because I don't give a shit who believes me. I just trust things, and that's where I'm at in life. I just trust things. So those feelings came in, and I just trusted it, and I shared it with, you know, a few people, not many, and I've kept quiet about it, and I've just been sitting with it because. And I've grieved and I've cried, and I'll tell you why. Because we had this really great person on the world stage that really truly was making a difference and an impact. And I know people that weren't necessarily real true believers, but then they found Charlie Kirk, and they found faith just through listening to him. So now he's been exited stage left. Whether you believe he was truly assassinated or if you believe he is okay, and has just been taken off the world stage for the steering of the masses, the political hit job to steer the masses, to get the masses to see a propaganda campaign. But sadly, most, the masses are worker bees, right? They just do as they're told and they believe what they're told. And so it takes events and triggering their emotions to move them in a particular direction sometimes. And big events like this certainly have impact. And so, anyways, there's a figure off the world stage that was a shining light to many and a shining light in general. And now that shining light is gone, and it's very, very sad. And then the other part of the grief that came in is I am so tired of humanity being hateful and disgusting and celebrating something like that. It's disgusting. I realize it's important for us to see clearly, and we're in the Aquarian age where the darkness will be revealed. And we've done readings before on the darkness that's taken over people's well, that's steering people, the dark energies that's literally steering and influencing people. We've done readings on that, and it's real, but they're choosing it. You know, I don't want anyone getting on here and feeling all sorry for these people because, oh, they're being guided by dark entities. It's a choice. It's a choice. What makes you feel good? We choose. We're free-willed beings. And being hateful and being angry and doing shitty things doesn't make me feel good. So I choose to try to be the best version of me every single day. And I choose to try to be better today than I was yesterday, somehow. And that's a choice. And because that feels good to me, it feels better than the alternative to me. And these people choose. Please remember this, you guys. It's a choice. We're free-willed beings. These people choose hate. These people choose darkness. They may be being steered and influenced by a dark energy, but they've allowed that in, and they've allowed that feeling to feel good to them, and they've chosen to roll with it. It's a choice. So it's good that we can see that. We lived through a long period of time where everything was very gray. People kept their opinions and their business to themselves, and that felt good, honestly, because, you know, I don't give two tiny shits what Stephen King's political views are. But by being in this time where people are doing that, coming out and just blatantly being hateful or ignorant, we get to see clearly. So that means that gives us even more of an advantage, right? Because we get to choose clearly who we're going to be friends with, who we're going to hang with, who we're going to spend our time with. We get to choose that. So, and we have the information in front of us as clean as a written out slate for us, you know, on the chalkboard. It's like, this person's full of hate. Look, they're celebrating the death of a good man and they're calling for more death. This person's an asshole. That person's choosing darkness. That person has no room in my life. I don't want anything to do with that person anymore. So it's given us that very clear view. That light is being shown on the darkness. And this dark event has snapped a lot of people's inner light into, all right, I'm going to stand, I'm going to rise, and I'm going to stand for something because this shit's gone too far. And so it's really making an impact, a huge impact. So, yeah, that top to bottom just went ding, 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 ding. And yeah, Carla sent me some stuff. She delved for me. She goes, well, what phrase exactly is it that has you, like, you know, your bells and whistles going off? And I said top to bottom. And so she did some delving for me and sent me a bunch of stuff. There's much more to it than just that. But I zoned right in on political hit job. So there you go. For me, that was enough I didn't need the validation, but it was interesting to find out why all my bells and whistles were going off with top to bottom. Interesting to see a political hit job there. So, again, thank you, Carla, for finding that for me. I haven't listened to anything. I haven't done, I'm going to start this week delving into it. And just seeing what I can find. My boyfriend's been looking at stuff a little bit. I haven't needed to for validation or anything, because I just had those initial feelings and I trust. Um, and I just wanted to process and keep centering myself to shake off the consciousness, because it got heavier than it was already after the event. So it didn't release. It built. You know what I mean? The energy built. It didn't. The event didn't happen, and then there was a release of energy. It's like the event happened, and the energy that had already been there built. So, yeah. So I just been centering myself. Let me get a sip of my coffee. I know this is a long talk, like a 30-minute talk. I'm sorry, but so anyways, I didn't come on, I didn't want to read on it because I feel like it was I felt like uh, even no matter how I feel, no matter what my thoughts are, no matter what it is that I'm thinking or not thinking, there's this level of respect that I have where some things I will refuse to come on and read on it because I feel like it's disrespectful. And, it's, for me, it's an ethical thing, but it's also a respect thing. And at the end of the day, I have to be able to live with myself and my values and my morals. At the end of the day, I try to keep those values and morals intact, and I'm not perfect, and I've screwed up plenty, and I've done things in a moment, and said things in the moment that, yeah, I'm not proud of. I'm not perfect. I have a hot temper and a fast trigger, and, I'm not perfect, and I'm not trying to say that I am, but I do work to try to stay in alignment with my values and my morals and my ethics. And I really felt like it would be incredibly disrespectful to come on and do a tarot reading on the authenticity of Charlie Kirk's assassination while the world grieves. And I just felt like that would be really disrespectful, and I didn't feel like it would be very ethical. And I wanted the hype to die down. And I know that you guys would be wanting me to do some sort of a reading. And I just didn't want to do it until the hype until the release started coming energetically. I still feel like it's sort of disrespectful, because whether or not this good man is actually truly gone, or he has been taken out of the scene for whatever reason to either protect him because he was a deep state target, or because he was always just a character in the show, or because he's tired and wants to just, and had no idea how big of a name he would become, or whatever the reason. The world has lost a figure that made a difference, that was a bright, bright, shining light. So it doesn't matter what the actual truth is around it. It's, the world has lost a bright light. And so I just have feelings of like, all I can say, I guess, is, checking my ethics and my morals and my values and respect. It just felt disrespectful. So, but I want to read on him because he also deserves, because he was such a bright light, he also deserves to be spotlighted. His life, the way he lived it publicly, whatever that may have been, behind the scenes, he could have been one of the 60,000 men army, you know. But what he did, the influence that he had here, deserves a moment of respect and love and appreciation and gratitude for what he brought to the world. So, you know, excuse me for being conflicted, because I don't want to be disrespectful, but I also want to pay tribute to him. So I think, you know, as I've talked here and worked this out with all of you, I think what we're going to do is we're going to first, before I go into, was this a psyop or anything like that, the first thing I'm going to do, you guys, is take a sip of my coffee. And ask the universe to tell us a story of how it views what Charlie Kirk brought to this country and the world. So, please and thank you. From the universe's perspective, through our highest selves, through our spiritual teams that have our highest and greatest good for intentions only and always, through our Creator, that which created all there is and that which loves all there is. Please give us a story in a 7-card spread about Charlie's pathway here in this world and a story around him as the universe views what he has brought to the world. Please and thank you. Charlie Kirk's life and Charlie Kirk's mission and Charlie Kirk's death. What has he contributed to the world through Spirit's eyes? Because through my eyes, his life was very significant, and his death, this what's happening now, has contributed and will continue to ripple out from here because of the impact that he did have on people, and because of the narratives that we're being told around his death. It's going to, that light is going to continue to ripple out and touch a lot of people, and I think probably wake a lot of people up and ignite a lot of people, as I've seen, like the flame went off within their hearts, like they've now been ignited to stand and speak and fight against darkness. So please and thank you, through Spirit's perspective, can you speak to us, tell us a story in a 7-card spread, showing us how God and highest selves and our spiritual teams, all of that which has our highest and greatest good for intentions only and always, views the life and the death of Charlie Kirk and the impact that he made here in this world. Please and thank you. It was fresh. He was guided. Okay, let me move the cards so you guys can see him. All right. That's not right. The camera angle's not right. Still not really right. Okay, you guys, how does Spirit see it? How do they see the life and the death of Charlie Kirk and the impact that he created here on this earth plane? So the biggest piece of Charlie Kirk's pathway was the two. So that's the Two of Pentacles. So that's a juggling act, right? And so juggling to create balance. So it's an emotional journey because even though it's the Pentacles and it's the earth plane, you can see how wavy that water is in the background. The big waves. That's the emotional journey of it. And so Charlie Kirk, the energy that drove his path was being on this earth plane with those pentacles and juggling people's emotions, right, with the wavy water, and really trying to help bring balance to the earth plane. So that's the energy that drove his pathway. And then we come up, that was the energy, bringing some emotional balance back in to the earth plane. And what was he doing? He was doing that with children, right? So he was speaking at college campuses with this Page of Pentacles, that young energy. And, he was doing this with young minds, and he was doing it with love. So we come up from this biggest portion of this energy to the story. So he's on this earth plane working to create balance within people emotionally, bring in emotional stability again, emotional balance. The story begins with our child card. That's the Six of Cups. That's all emotions, okay? Cups are emotions. The Six is divine love. There's a positive and a negative to everything. And we know that the deep state, cabal, nefarious people invert everything, right? But a 6 in the positive is divine love, and it's birthing something new. It's very high vibrational to the positive. And so that divine love vibration, that's Charlie Kirk, and he was a man of great faith, right? Who spoke about that divine love. Bringing emotional balance and sharing this faith and divine love with children. Almost like because he was not a lot older than them, it was like the big brother. His role was like the big brother. Well, I'm the older brother. I'm not some old guy on the stage talking to you guys. I'm closer to your age. I'm working to relate with you guys. So like a big brother figure sharing things with younger people who don't quite understand or who had been indoctrinated, as we know, right? Because of this crumbling system around them. With this Six of Cups, the buildings around these kids are crumbling. And if you look at the colleges, so unhealthy environment, right? And if you look at the colleges' indoctrinations, they're really just indoctrination camps. And so he was sharing as a big brother with these kids from a place of these unhealthy and unwell indoctrination camps. And, really working to help bring balance to people's emotions, bring balance to this earth plane through helping and loving and enlightening and helping to balance these children out with facts and faith and a willingness to sit there and take insult after insult and still smile and hold himself in grace, in God's grace. So that's how the universe is seeing him. Across from sharing this with the kids, we have the Page of Pentacles, which also represents kids, right? But as we come up his journey here, creating that balance, for this emotional balance on the earth plane for these kids who've been in unhealthy, unwell atmospheres, coming in as like a big brother to share this emotional balance, this divine love. We have the Page of Pentacles, which is a very fresh, tangible energy. So for him, he was a fresh energy. He was like doing something that others weren't really doing. So it was a fresh way of coming to people via this earth plane and making this difference, okay? Now, in between these two cards here, the Six of Cups and the Page of Pentacles, and above his Two of Pentacles, we have the Nine. Completing a cycle, completion of a cycle, and we have the Hermit, right? And the Hermit is a shining light. He's a guide. So Charlie Kirk's journey here, he was truly a guide, a shining light, a guide to shine a light on the emotional instability that had been being created through these unwell institutions or surroundings, or, when you look at this card, or the atmosphere. But these are buildings that are unhealthy and unwell, right? So, and he literally went to colleges. So that's really, that he was here to do just that. So his place is a big place. It's giant as the Hermit, to shine this light on this earth plane as this fresh energy, to kind of spotlight the emotional unrest and the emotional imbalance, and work to create balance, and share this divine love and this emotional stability with these kids that are being indoctrinated in these places that are unwell, to make them imbalanced, right? Radicalizing, which is what the colleges are doing. They're radicalizing people. So he's a giant light. The universe sees him, our highest selves, our spiritual teams, spirit, and our creator sees Charlie and his life here as a great and shining light. And so what was he doing as this shining light? Bringing this working to create emotional balance within kids as this fresh energy, as something different than what, we'd seen before, right? So he's working to do that. And you come up from this Hermit to the King of Swords. He's working to do that as a man with integrity. The King of Swords has a lot of integrity. And so because he was this shining light with integrity and this fresh energy on this earth plane, doing this, sharing this divine love with the kids in an atmosphere that was designed to create this emotional unwellness. He really was able, if you come up from the Hermit to that Six of Swords, he really was able to shine a light on the women and the children and the men. So family values, because with the Six of Swords, you do have a man working his ass off to push this woman and this child forward into safer waters, right? So Charlie addressed family issues, and some people might get pissed off, but the roles of the female and the male in coming together to create this divine loving atmosphere for the family and the children. And, women's lib and all of this blibbity blah stuff. People get, we've lost the family values. We've lost what a man actually is doing, and we've also lost what a woman is doing. And as we lose this, we've really lost our children, right? Because, it's just a little known fact that when kids have both parents in the home working together in love, loving each other, loving the children, fulfilling their roles, the man is that strength and that, that person that will protect his wife and child, that will work hard regardless. Like my dad, he would have shoveled buckets of shit for $1 an hour if that's what it took to feed his family and take care of his family. But also that strong male role model. And then the women, then just allowing the nurturing side of us to come out and not be standing in the masculine so much, like, thinking that we can do anything a man can do. And, I hate hearing, I can do anything a man can do and better. Well, that's bullshit. I can't do every single thing a man can do better than him. That's just ridiculous. He can't do everything that I can do better than me either. And this pitting the men against the women and making it a competition and a tit for tat, it's just bullshit. So he was really bringing attention to the family values, to the male role model in the family. And his goal really was to move people into smoother sailing and get back to these family values under this divine love. And he was bringing the information straight. I mean, he was just bringing it with as much honesty and integrity as he possibly could, though a lot of people couldn't see it. Some never will see the truth, right? But he was doing it in his way, and his way was being highly guided, and it was in that vibration of divine love. We have that twice. So, people that are caught up in not always liking what he said, he was doing what he was doing with as much integrity. He really had integrity. You don't have to always like what somebody else says. That's not the point. We're not all little paper cutouts of each other. The point is, what is their intention? What is driving them? The heart. And where does this come from within them? And what I'm seeing here, it comes from divine love, a true caring, and integrity. And, literally, that's his pathway with the hermit. Like, his deal is to do this. It's a driving force for him with that hermit, right? And then above his sharing this working to create this emotional stability here, from that like big brother type energy, with these kids, because he's so close to like their own age anyways. It's fresh. It's like that big brother energy. Above that, we have that 3. He was joyful in, he also had a lot of joy in this love. Like, and the hermit touches that, right? The hermit says, you're a joyful person with integrity and love, so, he was joyful, and he had an ability to see very clearly. And because with that 3 of rods, that's clear vision. That's being able to look out and see things very clearly. So he had an ability to see things clearly, and he was willing to put things behind him in this physical journey, right? He was willing to not have some things in this physical journey in order to be able to look out clearly and see and move from there. So, and it was joyful to him. So even though he was bouncing around and doing all of this traveling as a family man, that was incredibly guided, and it was part of his journey to always be viewing where to next, right? And then moving towards wherever he was going to be going next. He was here in our state Not that long ago, you guys, maybe a week or two ago, a couple weeks ago. It wasn't that long ago. Speaking here. So he had this ability to look out and see clearly where he wanted to go and who he was going to share with next. So the universe says his whole life was this whole journey that he was on was about love and joy and integrity and creating an emotional balance within these kids that had been indoctrinated from a fresh perspective, because he was very close to their own age too. So it's not like, you know how young kids don't want to listen to the old guy. Oh yeah, they're just old. They don't get it. He was young enough within that realm to be talking to them about family, about God, about emotional balance, about truths. And he really did want to help move humanity out of these bumpy times that we're in, these emotionally bumpy times, and create this balance, and move us into, help be part of moving humanity into that smoother sailing. So the universe sees him as a very good man, obviously. And with that reading, there's nothing negative there. Just a good. The universe sees this soul as very, very, very joyful, very loving, a lot of integrity, quite a mission, a shining light, and to bring upon what? The ending of a cycle. He's working to end a cycle of misinformation, changing the value, bringing the family values back, helping to balance out children and make them more emotionally stable and balanced. Shine a spotlight on things that are skewered. So yeah, just a good man. I'll let him say a couple more things, and from there, if you guys have questions around Charlie, as long as they're respectful, I'll go ahead and read on them if you want to put them in the comments. So a couple more words on okay, so what's he shining a light on now? Okay, we're saying a couple more words. So now, through this story of his death, a light is being shown on these horrific systems that work to control people and overpower them, you guys. So through his death, there will be great change that comes to these systems, right? Because the light is now being shown on that through this exiting, through this assassination, through his not being on the world stage anymore. Now a light is being shown on these systems and what's wrong with these systems. A light is being lit up within people that are grieving. Individual people are now going through great change because of this event, you guys, because of Charlie, through his death. So, and also a light, because death is covering the hermit. So a light is also being shown on his death. It's showing the ugly. So it's showing the hateful people celebrating his death. It's showing how the lunatic blues, the lunatic leftists, the extremists, how ugly they are. I mean, they wouldn't even allow a moment of silence for him, apparently. So it's really shining a light, shining a light on the oddities around his death, okay, you guys? The ugliness around his death. It's shining a light on, it's shining a light within people through this mourning. It's shining a light on the bad systems that want to control people, you guys. So, all right, so yes, now the light is shown on the journey has ended, the death and the journey has ended. And the light is saying, hang on, you guys, okay, because the light is under there. So the light is saying through his death, hang on, through his ending, hang on, because for several reasons, you guys. 7, seek truth and knowledge. Always remember that with this 7. Seek the truth and the knowledge. Charlie planted a lot of seeds, okay? So through his death, a lot of seeds were planted, which will also help to continue to move humanity into smoother sailing. But they're saying, hold on, because not everything was finished, okay? Not everything's finished, they're saying. The universe is saying. So let's let them have a couple more cards. I'm going to cut it because that's usually as far down as I go. I'm just going to cut it, a couple more cards. Here, it's time to heal. A lot of groundwork's been done. It's time to ground in some new things. This is an information war. So now they're saying, oh, you can't see it because of the camera angle. Just for a minute, we'll go down there so you can see that. Get a sip of my coffee. All right, so they want you to hold on, okay? So they want you, the universe is saying, all right, you guys, seek the information, seek the truth. About what? About his death. They're telling us to do that, you guys. All right? Seek the information, seek the truth about his death. About his ending, how it all came to end. They're telling you to hold on, stay balanced, right? Hang on, stay emotionally balanced. Seek the truth, seek the wisdom. Charlie's death in itself has planted a lot of seeds, but there's more, right? There's more to be found and put in. What he did in his life, he planted a lot of seeds to help move humanity out of troubled water. But there's still more to put in. All right? So now we come down from seek the truth, seek the knowledge, stay in joy. That's where he stayed. He was a joyful man, they're saying. Stay in joy with this Empress. This is a higher arcana card. It's time for healing. Connect through the crown chakra. Connect up into heaven, okay? Stay grounded into earth. Pull in that joy, pull in that love, pull in that light, all right? Ground that in. We have another 7. Ground that in physically into the earth plane and seek more information with this. Whoop. Okay, moved again. It's going to, because it wants to bounce back. I'm going to hold it while I show you guys. Seek more information with this 7 of Swords. Seek, seek, seek the knowledge, seek the truth. Seek, seek, seek the knowledge, seek the truth. Seek, seek, seek the knowledge, seek the truth. We get 3 7s right there. 7, 7, 7. Yeah, so the universe is telling us this is an information war. Seek more information within this information war, you guys. It's a narrative that's being told, but it's bringing upon great change. Okay? That's what we're getting right now, and that's a lot of cards. So I'm going to go on. I'm going to let them talk a little bit more. They're saying seek, seek, seek. This is the Great Awakening. So, when you seek, 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 you don't seek from an emotional place. You have to center, right? You have to center to listen to your intuition so that your intuition isn't being manipulated by your ego, which would be being manipulated by your emotions. So it's really about centering so that we can find truth. Do you know what I'm saying? Not through the ego and not through the emotions, but through a place of being centered, spirit centered. All right, give me a minute here. So we don't even have to ask questions. The universe is beginning to tell us that this is a story, it's a narrative, and it is to create great change. So I'm just going to let them talk a little bit more. I think this is going to be fairly long. But I think that he's deserving of it, and people can listen to this in increments if they would prefer. Okay, you guys, so let's just do a downward conversation now. Now that we've been told that the spotlight is now to be shining on the ugly things around Charlie's death, it's for us to seek to know, to notice these things, to seek truths. There's a lot of groundwork laid already there for us in that physical journey for us to find. A lot of seeds have been planted. There's more to find. So seek the truth, seek the knowledge. Okay, because I believe what they're saying is this event is also part of the Great Awakening, you guys. All right. So anybody that's out there saying that he is a deep state agent or whatever, because I'm sure there are people out there running their lips that way. I don't know. I'll find out later. Maybe not. I haven't done any delving. So maybe not. But if there are any people out there, don't buy it, because the universe just told us he was a good man. Okay? And yeah, do your own seeking. This is all part of the, well, you can buy whatever you want. It's not for me to tell you what to believe. This is just what I'm getting, okay? That's just what I'm getting. So I'm not buying it because I trust what I'm getting, because I trust what I get. But yeah, whatever you guys decide, I'm not here to tell you what to think one way or another. But if there are people out there saying that, what I'm getting is that he was a very good man, shining light and on a mission. And that this death of his is part of the Great Awakening. There's a lot for us to find. We did get that 7 of Swords. And so that's an information war. It's a narrative. So there's truths out there with that 7 of Swords that are being skewered. And there is true information in the background that we've yet to find, okay? So there's a lot to this, I think. There's a lot to this. So we're just going to let them keep talking. We're going to do a downward and let them finish saying what they want to say. But his death is shining quite a light. So the Page of Cups, for me, that Page of Cups is all childlike, okay? It's all emotion. He's got a fish over his head. He's dressed in fish clothing. He's wearing the color of water. The blue, it's all wrapped around his mind, his ego, around his throat. He's speaking from emotion. He's thinking emotionally. His heart center is all emotion. Even his root, he's all emotion. There's very little grounding in him. It's all emotional. He's looking straight at the fish, drinking out of the cup with waves behind him. Very emotional, right? So there's a lot of emotion going on right now with this. But now we've got the 17 and work being done for a long time to break chains. rivers to cross. I'll move these upward. So, okay. So now what they're saying here, you guys, is that there's a lot of emotions around this whole narrative, this loss, this loss of this great shining light in the world, right? And there's a lot of emotion surrounding this. Highly emotional time. But they've brought us in with the 17, you guys. That's 17. That's my cue card. That's where miracles happen. And they're saying, I think what they're saying is that he is part of an operation with this. And he'd been working for a very long time. So instead he wins the race type with this Knight of Pentacles, did a lot of hard work. And what was his hard work in? To break the chains that bind. So very much aware of the deep state, and his work really was to break the deep state's hold and chains on. And as we know, the kids, but if you see these little tiny people down here, the little minis, you know, to working to create miracles and break the chains from that darkness. That was his mission. A lot of integrity, again, with this Queen of Swords. He just came out and he gave it to you straight. And very honest person with the Queen of Swords. Like, he just gave it to you straight. He delivered things straight, okay? Just very, in the way that he spoke, very well delivered too, with that sword straight up, right? But that was his mission. That was his work, where miracles happen, to break those chains that bind. All right, so now we come down to that Knight of Cups, and again, that's very emotional, and that's a we can do this thing card, right? That's, you're out there on your horse, you're the knight, you're the warrior, and it's an emotional time, and you have to do something that's going to be very emotional. But you know that you can do it. You know how they show on the old Westerns, like the horses, they're nervous as they have to cross the river. You know, there could be water moccasins. There could be an undertow that you don't see that could drag the horse off and the rider. And, you know, there could be piranhas or whatever. But you know that you have to cross that. You have to cross that bridge. You have to cross that river. And so it was getting a little nerve-wracking for him, by the looks of it, with this Knight of Cups. It was nerve-wracking. It was like his journey that he was on was now becoming a little bit nerve-wracking, maybe a little bit scary, right? Hard to explain it, but maybe a little anxiety with the things that he was doing on this mission to create miracles that he'd been on for so long. Now it was becoming nerve-wracking, and that's because he had a feeling. There was like feelings, or there was an intuition there with the kitty about the journey that he was on, that it was just becoming nerve-wracking. What he was doing, the work that he was doing to create these miracles, to break these chains that bind, was now becoming a little nerve-wracking. He intuitively had some feelings about some darkness. Okay, so I would say they're saying that he had a knowing. He was uncomfortable. there was something going on. He may have even been a target, you guys, is what I'm getting. Deep state target. And he could feel it. He knew it. He knew it. So now if you read downward from that, he knew it. He probably even spoke the words, okay? And made it clear that he was feeling it, maybe feeling that pressure from these baddies, okay? So that's something that he was feeling within his journey of the work that he was doing. He was feeling a little, he was feeling it. He was feeling the danger within what he was doing. There was some danger there for him, is what I'm getting. But his work really was to create the miracles. That 17, don't forget to create the miracles. It was a mission that he worked on. Slow and steady wins the race, to break the chains that bind from this deep state. But it was becoming a little bit nerve-wracking. He had some intuition around that, and he's probably even voiced it. So there was some feelings that he was going through around the work that he was doing, feeling a little threatened from the deep state, is what I am getting. It's just what I'm getting, you guys. So I just want to see if I've got that correct so far. So things were building. And is that correct? So he was feeling it, maybe even stated it, or at least that's the narrative. Maybe there's a narrative out there that he was beginning to feel a little nervous, that he had some intuitive feelings around this deep state, and maybe he's even voiced it. Maybe he's voiced it publicly, or maybe he voiced it to somebody close to him and they're going to voice it. But there's something around that. Am I correct? Please and thank you. And that's the way the battle, yeah. Let me move things. So the battle, so he spoke of it. He spoke of it. And he spoke of feeling a little bit, so he spoke of feeling a little bit beat up in the war, or a little bit worried, feeling like tattered. And he spoke of it to a man, and it could have even been Trump, because that's my Trump card. But he spoke of it to a man, and probably a woman. So the narrative would be out there. He spoke of the chaos, the fighting. So he spoke of it. He had some, I don't want to say anxiety, but he had feelings. He had an intuitive feeling, and he spoke of it. And he was feeling a little tattered by it. And so he would have spoke of this to both a man and a woman, and there was and he would have spoke about the chaos and the fighting that he was witnessing. Maybe he witnessed things like that at the campus, at the campuses. And so it looks as though some people in power have helped move him, hide him. How do I want to say that with that King of Cups? It's like he's been, there's a lot of secrets there. It's like he's been put under the surface, but there's secrets there. It's like he went on to be sovereign, released from this, you guys. Yeah, we're getting quite a story. This is getting long. Hour and 14 minutes. So we're getting quite a story. So he spoke of these discomforts, and it looks to me, what I'm getting is that it looks like this is a white hat operation. That's just what I'm getting, you guys. Please, I mean no disrespect, but it looks as though he was removed because of maybe some deep state threats, or maybe it was time because things were getting too deep and he was not feeling comfortable with what was going on here between the battle. He spoke of this to both a man and a woman. There is a lot of chaos around this journey that we may learn of later with this Queen of Swords, who always kind of brings she does bring things forward, so we might find out something more as the days and weeks progress around if there were any threats towards him, or if there were any mail, or there's going to be something around this coming, I think, with this 5 that will reveal secrets. It's going to reveal secrets. But it looks to me that these people kind of put him under the surface so that he could be sovereign and safe. And this was all done with integrity with that King of Swords, you guys. Okay, so they want you to know this is all in with integrity. So it's a lot of cards. Let me shuffle them all in so that I can get clarification. So it looks to me like through this, what God, highest selves, universe, spirit wants us to know is that everything that we're seeing, we're to remember that this was a mission. It looks like he could be part of that 60,000 man army. It was a mission, and even though he's been moved off the world stage and we're not going to see him anymore, it looks to me like this was all done with integrity because it was time, and there was a feeling of it being time, because shit was getting kind of deep. Is that basically what we're getting here? And it's for us to remember that this was all done with integrity. And there's going to be more coming up from the surface around this Charlie's life, Charlie's death, possibly threats, death threats, things to that nature. So am I picking up what you're laying down? Please and thank you. Whoops, that was a bad shuffle. One more shuffle, and I'll cut them 3 times. One more shuffle, because I can't seem to get one good last shuffle in. There we go. So that shuffle, I'm going to cut them 3 times. So have I picked up the story that you're telling? Please and thank you. Did I pick up what you're trying to say? Please and thank you. Knight of Pentacles. It's a long story. So, yes, I've picked up what we've read here, but there's more story to it. And I've already been on an hour and 19 minutes, and this is going to take forever to upload. So, you know what? I'm going to read on it again. I'm going to, tomorrow morning, we'll pick up where we left off, because it's a long story around Charlie Kirk. It's a long story. Because this guy works hard for a long time, over a long period of time. But it's a slow and steady, win the race, do the hard work kind of thing to create the goal, right? The desired goal. So when they're answering me if I picked it up, that would be my yes, but it's a long story. So I picked up what we've talked about so far, but not all of it because it's a longer story than what I've told. So that's interesting. So how about if I go ahead and tomorrow morning's reading is letting you guys finish the long story that you have to say around the life and death of Charlie Kirk. The life and death narrative of Charlie Kirk. Will that be okay? Please and thank you. It's got to be really, I'm going to have to do 2 videos. So I can't fit it all into one. But I just want to see with their answer if they really feel like there's more to say, or if they're saying, you know, there's so much more to this story, and so there's a piece of it that maybe can hold us over, bring us comfort, or whatever. So let's see. So is this a story that you'd like to continue on tomorrow morning? Please and thank you. Yeah. So tomorrow morning we're going to read more on Charlie, what the universe wants to say about his journey here. Because there's a lot to say about his journey here. So yes, they do want to say more tomorrow morning. So that we'll continue on to find out what the universe says. Secondary message with this sun card is rejoice. Okay? So rejoice, you guys, with the sun. Winning, right? 21 equals 3, which equals joy. So rejoice, winning. We're talking about Charlie Kirk here. So he made a great impact. Winner. He brought a lot of joy. He brought a lot of rescuing of those little kids, right? So we say little kids, but he turned the tides for a lot of younger people. And so celebrate that. Stay in joy, yes. Tomorrow they're gonna talk more. They're gonna speak more to us on Charlie Kirk. So I guess I'm okay with this. I feel like it's his respect. I feel like I'm being respectful. I don't feel like I've gone against my morals or my ethics or my values. I'm not telling anybody what to think or how to believe. I just want to state that again. And, but yeah, what I'm getting is that he was a very good man. What I'm getting is that it looks like he could be part of that 60,000 man army. He was on a mission. It was a highly guided mission. He was very successful in his mission, but it does look like there was a threat for him at this point. And he could feel it. They knew it. They spoke about it, talked about it. So everything around him so far we're getting is integrity. So keep that in mind, and we'll let them keep talking tomorrow. We'll pick up. I'll have to listen to this so that I know what it says. I'll have to listen to the very end of it so that I know where we left off. We'll try to pick up from there tomorrow. But anyway, you guys, I love you all. I hope that you're having a blessed day, a very beautiful, beautiful day. Sorry this is so long-winded, you know. Whoever's meant to listen to it will listen to it, and whoever's not isn't gonna, and that's just how it is. That's how it goes, right? So whoever it's meant for will hear it anyways. So I love you all very much. Stay high vibing. Stay centered. Stay in a place of love and joy. And I will see you all. I'm going to have to see you all tomorrow because we have to pick up from that. Okay? All right, you guys. I love you. Oh, don't follow any links in the email. Don't follow any links or emails in the comment section of the channel. And also, you guys know the healing intentions are always set for you folks. Always, always, always. So if you choose, stand in your power and decree that for your highest and greatest good only and always. That's what this channel was created under, that umbrella of healing. So it's always there. Even if I forget as I sit down, because my mind is so focused on someone as important as Charlie Kirk, even if I forget to state that, please know it's always, that's the whole umbrella of the channel. It's the biggest portion of what this channel was created for. Okay, you guys, I love you all, and I will see you tomorrow. All right. Mwah. Bye.